I'm going to try to control my giddiness today. My daughter was elected to her local school board in Connecticut last night, and I'm enormously proud of her today. So I'll try to behave. My name is Ken Shelin, and Commissioners, I'm really grateful today that we find ourselves at this point and that this proposed ordinance will provide some very simple and basic rights to domestic partners. Responsible people committed to each other in a domestic relationship should not only be recognized for the stability that they bring to the community, but government has an obligation to facilitate its functioning. Because you've heard me before, you might suspect that I have a few comments. Your proposed ordinance does not provide for hospital visitation rights for children or other family members of domestic partners, even though it does provide that with respect to visits in correctional facilities. So please, can you correct that discrepancy? This ordinance should not be about excluding a class of people, as it does with the residency requirement for registration only by permanent residents of Sarasota County. Please eliminate the residency requirement. This ordinance should not be about the granting of rights to anyone who is in Sarasota County and finds themselves in one of the situations addressed by the ordinance, or it should be about granting those rights, excuse me. The draft ordinance at section 62-338, subparagraph D, addresses events of automatic termination, as Mary Meeks pointed out, including the death of one of the domestic partners. This should include an exception for the funeral and burial rights provision. As you know, I have met with the Sarasota Memorial Hospital Risk Management and Patient Privacy Manager, and Chuck Henry's told you that he's already been in touch with the same person and the other hospitals in the county too, who has had the City of Sarasota affidavit application examined by their lawyers at the hospital to assure that it is properly witnessed and notarized so that a wallet card can be accepted by hospital staff as evidence that the card holder is a valid healthcare surrogate. And the hospital personnel agree that the card can be accepted. So this is a very simple way of documenting the validity of the relationship. But let's get to the bottom line here, which is why these relationships exist, both opposite and same-sex couples. It's all about love. Partners want to be together because they love one another. That's a commodity government should honor and encourage because it creates communal stability and economic development opportunities. The benefits of human relationships should be integral to the political and governmental processes. I hope you will recognize the joy such relationships bring to the individuals involved, their families, friends, neighbors, and the community at large, and will want to facilitate them and their benefit to the community as a whole. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, Ken.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Patterson.
Ken, my understanding is this does confer reciprocal rights to visitors to the county, but only to the extent of those rights that our ordinance give them. So I thought I heard you and somebody else saying that we weren't doing that, but we are.
Well, it says that only permanent residents of Sarasota County can register in Sarasota County.
Can register here, but if you come from your community to here with a partnership somewhere else, it is reciprocal to those folks.
And it works where there is a domestic partnership registration ordinance where they come from.
Right.
But there are people who will come here. Only half of the state's population is covered at this point. Only 11 million of the 21 million people in Florida are covered by such ordinances. So half the population could conceivably come here and not be covered with a provision that only allows for permanent residents to be
our population,
registered.
the 18 million, is permanent residents. You're saying somebody comes here for a few weeks, they ought to be able to register?
Sure. That's happening in Tampa. You know, there are people who are registering in Tampa who come to Moffitt Hospital for treatment with their partners, and they are registering so that they have visitation and decision-making rights and perhaps even end-of-life decision-making while they're there at Moffitt.
Okay.
And it could happen here with Totoli and with Sarasota Memorial.
I'm not necessarily personally, and I can only speak for me, opposed to doing that, but I'm not sure I'm ready to do that today. I'd want the opportunity to talk with the attorneys about it and see what the implications are. But I get your point.
Thank you.